I didn't want to be blind and broke. I quit my dream job because I am unblinded and I see the truth.
Sean is a master. It's about making sure that we learn.
I've never seen something quite this impressive.
You're changing lives and having such an enormous impact.
You got what I have, right? That gene of we're gonna win despite.
That is one wickedly smart and wonderfully good man.
Be able to produce the kind of results that are possible that I hear about with this program.
Thank you for the magic of this weekend. Thank you for helping us reimagine all negative connections.
He is the greatest trial attorney and strategist in the country.
Tony Robbins said, there's no one who leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callaghan.
Brought by a dear friend of mine, Sean Callaghan.
You keep up the great work as well. You're doing amazing things. Great job.
Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You're a living example of that, and that inspires me.
Your voice must be heard.
Every single energy can be learned. It can be mastered.
I mean, this is the gift that keeps on giving, just even sitting here.
This is fantastic, positive, productive, wonderful.
Bella is like better than a cup of coffee. She is better than I'm all about energy.
Blinded! What is your profession?
I think it's such an amazing community of healthy individuals with zero jealousy, zero negativity, just designed to help each other succeed.
And she is a 2-time, soon-to-be 3-time published author who in 2023 publicly battled and defeated cancer.
The reincarnation of I Love Lucy, co-host of Art of Influence, the one, the only, Bella Baritza.
I'm just happy that I came here. I'm just really happy that I came.
You are unblinded. You are a cheathead. If you know that, say yes! Yes! Yes!
I should sign up for one of your seminars, one of your programs, you know?
Yeah. This Unison Yes thing. Yes. I got to get on it.
And this man is one of the greatest leaders in our country. God bless everyone.
Do you think that worked?
I do think that works. Maritza, Sean, and everyone, welcome to the Heart of Influence. And I'm first, that's not fun. I'm first going to introduce, but my Google just decided to log me out for a second, so I get to log back in. And I'm going to introduce our guest appearance coming all the way from Paramus, New Jersey, the Oracle of Integrity, born from the unblinded formula, wells the magic of truth and influence, guiding every conversation like a master conductor orchestrating a symphony of possibilities. Her heart beats with level 5 listening, not just hearing words, but absorbing them with intention, emotion, and the silent music between the notes. The bridge where worlds, where myth meets mastery and curiosity transforms into commitment. Every interaction with her is a portal from uncertainty to inspired, integrous agreement. Let's welcome to the show, Athena Akdal.
Ooh, Bella, you just made me sound like I should be holding a staff on a mountaintop somewhere. I love it. Hello, everyone. Garrett, John, Owen, Jeff, Maritza, Shannon. I'm thrilled to be here with you. And Bella, that introduction had more layers than a perfectly constructed metaphor, which means you've been practicing with me when I wasn't looking. Here's what's about to happen. We're going to put you 4 guests through some beautifully unexpected scenarios where your actual businesses collide in ways you didn't see coming. One of you will be causing the yes, the other will be the person you need that yes from. And I promise, by the end of each one, you'll see your own world through a lens you've never used before. Bella's driving. I'm here to make sure every scenario lands with enough sparkle that you'll remember it long after this call ends. You're all about to discover that getting to yes isn't about convincing. It's about creating a reality where the other person can't imagine saying anything else. Let's make some magic happen. You've all been rowing boats that had motors the whole time.
Let's make some magic, Athena. Love that introduction. And let's get to our guests and welcome all of our fantastic guests here to the Heart of Influence. And first, coming from Houston, Texas, Director of Business Development at Warm Springs, a subsidiary of Post Accurate Medical. He is a licensed physician, physical therapist, and healthcare partnership leader. He builds referral networks, educates providers, and improves care transitions across South Texas, having previously held executive roles at Health Pro Heritage, a doctor of physical therapy and a veteran advocate. He connects rehabilitation services to communities with servant leadership and deep clinical knowledge. Let's welcome to the show, Garrett Stacy. Hello, Garrett. Welcome again to the Heart of Influence. And as I said in the green room, this is your opportunity to share a fun fact, something cool that you've done, something amazing, something that you're proud of. But Garrett, something that would make us go, Garrett, no way. So Garrett, please, your fun fact.
Hey, thanks for having me. My fun fact, I have done many things, lots of cool, some scary, but one of my neatest fun facts was I've set as a body double for President Obama. And during my time working at the White House.
Wait, you cut out for a second. You did what for President Obama? Like it said I did blank for President Obama, and we missed whatever the blank was.
It could be, filtering. I've set as a body double for President Obama.
A body double for President Obama. That is a fascinating and super crazy fun fact. Garrett, I'm not quite sure how that body doubling works, but it sounds like it is an important role for sure.
Yeah. A lot of setup ergonomics, things that we would set up for the president. So being around height, stature, I would sit and be able to set up workstations.
That is so fascinating. I have all kinds of questions, but then we would not get to any part of the show. Maybe Athena will bring some role play back and call that back when she does some role plays, Garrett. But are you ready to have some fun?
I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, welcome. It's great to have you. Also coming from Houston, Texas, an area sales manager. Is it Tracy Medical Concepts? Am I saying that correctly?
It's Treese. It's John Treese is his last name, and so yeah, Treese Medical.
Treese Medical Concepts. He brings over a decade of experience in orthopedic medical device sales and surgeon engagement. He partners with orthopedic and pediatric surgeons to expand innovative surgical technologies, including advanced 3D bunion correction solutions across his territory. His career spans Texas Ortho Solutions, Healthcare Solutions Holding, and Biomed South Texas, making him a trusted voice in the Houston orthopedic community. Let's welcome to the show, John Richardson. John, welcome to the Heart of Influence. Impressive background, my friend. And John, please, your fun fact.
Well, it'd be kind of hard to follow up Garrett on his, but I was fortunate enough to be brought to the mountains at a young age, and I started snow skiing at 4. I feel like that's pretty young, and so we would go back pretty much every year since I was 4, and so I guess that could be my fun fact.
That is a super fun fact. And John, if you could go skiing, hit the slopes anywhere tomorrow, where would it be?
We grew up going to Breckenridge, so I really like going there. Vail, kind of that whole little area is a lot of fun. So.
That is awesome. As someone who previously lived in Colorado and lived there just for the skiing, I can absolutely relate. This won't be nearly as fun as hitting the slopes at 40 miles an hour, John, but we'll have a little bit of fun. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Next up, we've got from Spring, Texas, founder of Owen Dahl Consulting, a former chief executive officer of Salco Management. He is a healthcare consultant with over 50 years of experience. He has guided hospitals and medical practices through growth, revenue performance, and transformation, helping organizations become both efficient and deeply human. A published author podcast host, adjunct professor. He speaks, he leads, he humanizes healthcare platforms to champion compassionate and financially strong care. Let's welcome to the show, Owen Dahl.
Thank you all very much, Dawn. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to say two things because one is I've actually in the last 14 months been 750 feet below sea level at Antarctica and 12,000 feet above sea level at the top of Europe. And then the other interesting thing is with the other two gentlemen that have participated, I've had 5 joint replacements.
Keeping us in business.
Yes,
absolutely.
That is, how do you go 750 feet under sea level, underwater?
Yeah, I actually go on Viking cruises, and they have a 6-person submarine that goes into the depth of the water. So in Antarctica, we went 750 feet below sea level, which was an amazing experience in and of itself. That's for sure.
That is cool. I have something to add to my bucket list. Thank you, Owen.
Absolutely.
Owen, I'm not sure we're going to have as much fun as you can have 750 feet underwater, but we will have a little bit of fun. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go.
Let's do it. Last but not least, coming from Houston, Texas, a partner at Accelerant Consulting. He is a senior healthcare executive, strategic consultant, and with deep roots in supply chain and operational performance. He has led cost optimization, supplier strategy, and contract work across hospitals, health systems with former senior roles as Premier and MedAssist. A recognized thought leader in healthcare innovation, he actively shapes conversations around artificial intelligence, adoption, compliance, and supply chain modernization across the industry. Let's welcome to the show, Jeff Little.
Thank you very much for that. And it's really great to be here. And I'm not sure I can follow. I mean, you guys are all like daredevils and stuff, doing wild things. And I mean, I've gone skiing and things before. And it's funny because my wife's actually the daredevil. She's the one that will go jump out of a perfectly good airplane for no good reason. But my fun fact that I actually thought about for this, because a lot of people that meet me would never in a million years think this, but I was actually a college cheerleader. So when they usually meet me, it's usually in a business setting, and then when we do these little icebreakers, that comes up, and everybody's looking at me like, "You?"
Wow, that is cool. That is a super fun fact. Deb, so if the energy starts to drop down and we need some energy, we're gonna turn to you to like lift our spirits and cheer us on.
That'll work.
Perfect. Well, welcome, Jeff, to the Heart of Influence. And before I introduce our producers, I'm going to bring Athena back. And Athena, you can say hello to all 4 of our guests. How would you like to acknowledge them before I introduce our producer, Shannon and Maritza? So Athena, over to you.
Ooh, okay, let me take this in for a second because Garrett, you stood in for a sitting president, which means the Secret Service looked at you and thought, yeah, close enough that if someone's aiming from a distance, this works. That's not just a fun fact. That's a...
Keep going, Athena.
John, you've been carving down mountains since you were 4 years old, which means while most kids were still figuring out how to tie their shoes, you were already comfortable with gravity as a negotiable concept. Now you bring that same comfort with precision to surgeons who need 3D bunion correction technology, which is just skiing for feet. Owen, you've been 750 feet below sea level and 12,000 feet above it in 14 months, which means you've experienced more atmospheric pressure variance in a year than most people do in a lifetime. And you've had 5 joint replacements, which means you're literally walking proof that the healthcare system you've spent 50 years optimizing actually works. You're not consulting from theory, you're consulting from titanium. Jeff, you were a college cheerleader, and nobody believes it when they meet you in a business setting, which tells me you know exactly how to read a room, shift energy on command, and get people to do things in unison that they didn't think they could do alone. That's not just spirit fingers, that's influence mastery in a pyramid formation. Bella, I'm ready to put these 4 in scenarios that'll make them wish they were back in submarines. on ski slopes or throwing someone in the air. Your producers are going to love watching this.
I bet they are. Thank you, Athena. And let's introduce those producers now. Of course, from the greater Houston area, brings 28 years of global leadership at a Fortune 100 company into her work as an executive coach and HR transformation strategist, fusing operational excellence with emotional intelligence. Founder of a purpose-centered coaching firm that guides leaders to align their values with vision, unlocking authentic performance growth and lasting influence. Empowers physicians to recover lost revenue and reclaim vital time so they can focus on healing while restoring their financial health and professional freedom. Let's welcome to the show, Maritza Alessio! Maritza, please, your fun fact.
My fun fact is I'm originally from Ecuador. And if you truly go to see what is the highest point closest to the sun, is in Ecuador, is the highest mountain that I have. And I have actually been there. So that's my fun fact. If you want to be the closest to the sun, go to Chimborazo. That's the mountain that goes there.
Go hang out in Ecuador with Maritza. That's what I'm hearing. I don't know. It's hot enough in Texas. I don't think I need to get any closer to the sun, quite frankly, Maritza. But if we do, we know where to go. And are you ready to have some fun?
It would be cold there, so it's actually better.
Fantastic. I'm going to go hang out there.
Perfect.
Welcome, Maritza, of course, to your show and your partner in crime, also from the greater Houston area, of course, co-founder and chief operating officer, a force who scaled a company to nearly $40 million in annual revenue, built from nothing but vision and grit. Operating at the intersection of medical revenue recovery and ACTI, not waiting for results, but actively creating and reporting them in real time. A woman who walked through every storm life brought, chose love when it would have been easier not to, and built something that lasts. Let's welcome to her show, Shannon Bostic. Shannon, please, your fun fact.
The first time I ever flew in a helicopter, I poured out 1,000 Easter eggs on a football field for kids to go pick up.
That is super fun. Easter eggs, helicopters. Any plans to jump out of a helicopter or plane anytime soon?
No, I like the safety of being in the aircraft I'm riding in it.
Very good, very good. We'll see what adventures Unblinded might have in store for you in the future. But we're not going to jump out of any moving vehicles or any aircrafts today. Shannon, are you ready for some fun? She is ready for some fun.
I am, Bella.
And Athena, before I introduce myself, Athena, please, how would you like to acknowledge Shannon and Maritza, who brought all of these fine folks here together today?
Ooh, okay. Maritza, you've been to the highest point closest to the sun on Earth, which means you literally climbed to where the atmosphere is so thin most people can't breathe, just to say you did it. That's not tourism. That's a metaphor for how you operate. You go where others can't sustain themselves and you thrive there. 28 years at a Fortune 100 company taught you how systems break. And now you coach leaders out of the rubble before the building even shakes. Shannon, you scaled a company to $40 million and you're dropping Easter eggs from helicopters onto football fields, which tells me you understand that impact isn't about being on the ground with everyone else. It's about being above the chaos with a clear view and a plan to make magic happen from altitude. You find money doctors didn't know they lost, which means you see what's invisible to everyone else and turn it into something they can deposit. Bella, these two didn't just bring guests today. They brought people who've stood in for presidents, carved mountains, survived joint replacements, and cheered in formation. This is going to be fun. And I haven't even started cooking up the scenarios yet, which is basically me in a helicopter about to drop something unexpected on all of them.
I love it, Athena. We'll be thinking about that. I think we lost connection with John. Athena. So for the first role play, let's not include John. We've got Jeff, Garrett, and Owen here. So be thinking about that first role play while I introduce myself. My name is Bella Verita, your host of the Heart of Influence. I've co-hosted or hosted more than 1,800 episodes with more than 5,000 guests of this very show in the last 5 years. Prior to being with Unblinded, I actually got my career started in sales as an 8-year-old in Spring, Texas, as a matter of fact, selling crafts on my parents' front lawn. And my parents would take me to Michael's. They would buy me all my craft supplies, and then I would sell my crafts on the front lawn and get to keep all my profits. Not quite how business works today, but as an 8-year-old, I was banking. I did take those skills. By the time I was 19 years old, I was a top income earner in a network marketing company. When the FTC shut that company down at 23, I went into commercial real estate in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I was the first woman ever and the youngest woman ever to be the top sales professional in the state of Nevada. And got out of that career and been in sales coaching and consulting for now the last 2.5 decades. And I will go with the fun fact that I have scuba dove over 100 feet, and I have jumped out of perfectly good airplanes. So I've been down under and I've jumped out of perfectly good airplanes. Now I have a mission to get Shannon to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. That's my next adventure, and that is my fun fact. Welcome back, John. And so, Athena, as you know, this is the time in the show. So we've made some introductions. We've got all of our guests back. And now we move into the part of the show, ecosystem merging hot seat, which is what the show is all about, because Plato said, play a game with me for an hour and we can learn more about each other than if we spoke for a year. So Maritza and Shannon, they thought you guys should all meet each other. They could have invited you to Starbucks and you all could have had like a mocha chocolate and like figured out what kind of conversation you want to have. But instead they invited you here because it is way more fun than going for a cup of coffee and saves you a lot of time. And what's going to happen is Athena's really going to have some fun putting a couple of you on the hot seat. So what she will do is she will choose 2 of you. She will set up a role play, having one person go from hello to yes with the other. She'll tell you what yes that you are seeking, and then we'll go from the feedback round. Why? Because all business is built on shared experiences, which is what we're having, and the ability to cause yes. Because if you can't cause someone to buy your crafts, then you're soon out of business. So you got to be able to cause that yes. So Athena, please, who are we going to for our first role play? Athena.
Athena is muted, Bella.
Go ahead, Athena. Sorry, I couldn't get you unmuted for some reason.
All right, Bella, here we go for our first hot seat. I'm pairing Garrett and Owen. Here's what I'm seeing. Garrett, you build referral networks and care transitions across South Texas. You're literally the person who makes sure patients don't fall into the void between hospital discharge and recovery. Owen, you've spent 50 years guiding hospitals and medical practices through growth, revenue performance, and transformation. And you've got 5 joint replacements, which means you've been on both sides of the system Garrett operates in. Here's the scenario. Garrett, you're going from hello to yes with Owen. Owen runs a large hospital system in the Houston area, and you need him to say yes to partnering with Warm Springs as the preferred post-acute rehab provider for all his orthopedic and stroke patients. Owen's been pitched by every rehab facility in Texas. He's seen every deck, and he's skeptical because most partnerships sound great on paper and fall apart in execution. Garrett, your job is to get Owen to agree to a follow-up meeting where you'll bring your clinical team to present the full partnership model. Owen, you've heard this pitch 1,000 times. You've got 5 joint replacements, so you know what good rehab looks like. And you're not saying yes unless Garrett gives you a reason to believe this won't be another vendor relationship that creates more work for your team. Garrett, whenever you're ready, you've got the harder yes here, which means you're about to discover whether standing in for a president prepared you to stand in front of a hospital executive who's replaced half his joints.
Oh my God, Athena, that is great. Garrett, Owen, are you guys up for this role play?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So you'll have 3 minutes to go from hello to yes. This isn't like Wolf of Wall Street meets Boiler Room. Like, can I come to your office and bring everything right now today? But it could just be to set that longer meeting. So Garrett, you can take us in with the ring ring. You'll have 3 minutes. I'll come back and interrupt if need be. But Garrett, please take us in.
Hey, Owen, Garrett Stacy. I work at Warm Springs, Pam Health. But I was wondering, I heard that you had some joint replacements and wondering how that went, after you've had that joint replacement.
Well, what can I say? I've done very well with it. I now am able to walk 12 to 15,000 steps a day. I've been able to do some physical exercises, lifting weights and that sort of thing. In spite, I can't straighten my shoulder, different things like that. But the key that I have found is that the physical therapist, and I shouldn't shortchange the orthopedic surgeon, but the physical therapist has been really critical in being able to get me back to being able to use those joints. So I look to that to be the most valuable component in this process of the healing from that process, from those joint replacements.
With, 5 different experiences there with your joint replacements and, participating in therapy. Did you have the same therapist each time?
No, I've had 5 different therapists.
And did any of them have like specialization or training?
Well, they all claimed to have special training in the joints. I've actually had my knee replaced 3 times. So my left leg has actually been worked on by 2 different therapists. And unfortunately, my left leg is atrophied. So it's, not as strong as my right leg. So different therapists claiming to do things. The knee replacements have been very consistent in terms of the therapy approach. The hip and the shoulder, each on their own.
It's pretty interesting being a physical therapist myself, and treating many joint replacements. The average is 18 to 24 visits per therapy intervention post joint replacement.
Right.
And so it's interesting. The body will adapt and heal at different rates, different ages, different activity levels based on your prior level. Were there any obstacles that you faced to getting into therapy or getting those different therapists and the outcomes that you wanted?
No, actually, the therapy locations have been convenient to my home. I've been able to get there relatively easy. So there's that barrier is not a problem. Scheduling, the functionality of the team that scheduled me in each of the occasions actually worked well with me. I was able to set up sequential visits. So I didn't really have any barriers. And therefore, when I'm looking to hire someone, I'm looking to someone who has got an efficient operation. And I really think of 2 components. One is how efficient it is, but also I want to know about the relationship of the staff, because I think it's really critical to be able to have a personal relationship with your therapist, because frankly, they're putting you through some pain.
That is super important. And one of the things that we do is build rapport. That's one of the first things that they tell you as a therapist is to build and create that rapport, because you are going through a journey with your patient through the lifetime of that joint replacement. But it sounds like, scheduling, if that can be an obstacle that's overcome very easy, the referral to intake, making sure that is all done pretty efficiently, that the therapy has been nothing short but amazing for you. So for us as a hospital, if that's something that we could be that easy button for you, it's something I'd really like to have an opportunity to let you meet that team, and whether it's the clinical staff or the admittance director. I think it could be an amazing opportunity and something that we could work on maybe with your shoulder moving forward.
Frankly, I really like to meet the therapy staff, that team. Nothing against the management,
Yeah.
But the management can tell me anything they want to tell me. It's when I meet the therapists and really get to know their personalities and their approach, that is going to be the real sales key to me being able to say, yes, I want to work with you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think it is super important, as that's the person that you're going to spend the amount of time with. I think thought process, whether it's clinical based or just personal based, sometimes you jive with a person and sometimes you don't. But that definitely leads to different outcomes. When you believe something is going to work or you have a positive affect around that. So that's something I would love to set up, to have you meet our clinical team. Typically, it's our clinical team leads, because
Mr.
they drive
Dahl,
that
Mr.
culture.
Dahl, your submarine is about to leave. Last call.
So when might be a good time to get you in front of that clinical staff and make sure you have an opportunity to speak with them?
Well, I'm available on Tuesday afternoons. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I actually still work out. So it's important for me to have some time reserved, and my busy schedule gets in the way from time to time. So if we can have a week or two advance notice so that we can make sure that we have the opportunity to do that, I would welcome the opportunity to meet with you, with your team, and see exactly what can happen and get a feel for the culture of your organization and how that fits.
Would 2 p.m. 2 weeks from now on Tuesday work out for you?
Yes, it will.
All right.
So I'll put it down. Please
yes,
send me
Garrett.
the address. Send me the address and the contact information, and then we'll go from there.
All right, will do. Thank you so much
Fantastic
for your
job.
time.
Great job, Garrett, and of course, Owen, and we'll get to Athena and the feedbackers in just a moment. But Athena, I know you think that was fantastic. And next up, we've got John and Jeff. Athena, so what is the scenario for John and Jeff, please?
Whew, okay, John and Jeff, you're up. Here's what I'm seeing. John, you're bringing advanced 3D bunion correction technology to orthopedic and pediatric surgeons across Texas. Jeff, you're a senior healthcare executive who spent years optimizing supply chain, supplier strategy, and contract work across hospitals and health systems. Here's the scenario. John, you're going from hello to yes with Jeff. Jeff is the VP of supply chain for a large hospital system in Houston that does hundreds of orthopedic procedures monthly. You need him to say yes to evaluating your 3D bunion correction technology for inclusion in their orthopedic surgical supply contracts. Jeff, you've been pitched by every medical device rep in Texas. You know the game. And you're not interested in another innovative technology that creates more complexity for your surgeons and procurement team unless John can show you why this actually solves a problem you already have. John, your job is to get Jeff to agree to a meeting where you can bring clinical data and connect him with one of the surgeons already using your technology. Jeff, you're skeptical, you've got 10 other vendor calls this week, and you're not saying yes unless John gives you a reason to believe this is worth pulling your team together for. John, whenever you're ready, you've been skiing since you were 4, which means you're comfortable going downhill fast. And that's exactly what you're about to do with a supply chain executive who's seen every sales move before you even make it.
Love it. John, Jeff, are you guys up for this scenario?
Let's do this.
Good. Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right, you'll have 3 minutes. Take us in, John.
Hey, Jeff. So I'm curious in your position, when you're evaluating a new vendor, what's kind of important as far as implants for your facility?
I think the biggest things that we look at are kind of 3 things. And we like to use new technology. We like to use innovative things, but we also want to make sure it's the right thing and the right fit for our patients, our facility, and frankly our finance. So I look at things if it saves me time, if it saves me OR time, if it saves me money, or it increases my patient outcomes. That's generally when we say yes. Let's have a conversation. Let's go a little deeper and let's get this in front of an eval committee.
Okay. Awesome. Have you heard of Treece Medical Concepts by chance?
I actually have not.
Okay. So we specialize in bunion corrections for patients who have mild to moderate bunions, and then now we're starting to get more into the foot and ankle. Our bread and butter is Lapiplasty, and we market directly to patients. And so something that I think could be very beneficial for your facility is actually increasing volume at your facility for these procedures. So the procedure is a Lapidus procedure, and something that just happened this past year is the CPT code for the Lapidus procedure has recently gone up. And so reimbursement for this procedure is very favorable for the facility. So we work in a lot of facilities across Houston and across the United States. And that I know of, there hasn't been a facility that said, you know what, this procedure doesn't make sense for our facility. It's definitely a revenue generator. So is that something that sounds like you'd be interested in hearing more about?
Yeah, as long as we can quantify what that revenue looks like, and certainly if you've got something that you're saying it's going to help us increase volume, then to me that translates into potential, additional OR time, which is quite valuable. Then absolutely, let's take a look at it.
Okay, could we set something up maybe in the next couple of weeks if your schedule allows?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. But I'd also like you to come when you do come to the meeting, come prepared with some kind of tangible financial examples of what that's going to look like from a reimbursement standpoint, as well as what physicians that are in the area that are using it, and certainly if you have any that are credentialed at our facility, I'd like to know that as well.
Sure, absolutely. So we also have a specialist who she specializes in kind of the financial side. Would you like me to include her in the meeting as well?
I think that would be a good idea, because I was obviously understanding the correlation between the CPT codes and anything that's going to use that for revenue generation. That's going to be really key for us too.
Okay, awesome. Well, we can set something up. That'd be great.
Great job, John and Jeff. What a great scenario. Sounds helpful for sure. So let's do this. Let's start with Athena. Athena, if you could please give 30 seconds of feedback to Garrett in his Hello to Yes scenario, and then 30 seconds of feedback to John, and then Shannon and Maritza, I'll come to you for your feedback, and then we'll have Athena put me on the hot seat. So let's go Athena first. Any comments or feedback you would like to give to Garrett and Owen, and John and Jeff, please, over to you, Athena.
Ooh, okay. Let me hit Garrett first, then John. Garrett, what you did beautifully was meet Owen where he actually lives. You asked about his joint replacement experience. You listened at level 5 to what mattered to him, which was the therapist relationship, not the facility features. You built rapport by acknowledging his pain journey, and you pivoted to exactly what he said he cared about, meeting the clinical team, not the management, where you could tighten. You spent a lot of time exploring his past experience when you already had enough to move. The second he said the therapists were the key, that was your moment to go straight to the ask. You got there eventually, but you could have shaved a minute off and still landed the yes. You're rowing with the current. Just start the motor earlier. John, you opened with a diagnostic question that put Jeff in control. What's important when evaluating a new vendor? And then you listened and matched his exact criteria back to him. Time, money, patient outcomes, you hit all 3. You quantified the value with the CPT code reimbursement increase. You offered to bring financial proof, and you closed for the meeting without hesitation. Where you could elevate, you could have asked one more question about what his current bunion correction process looks like, so you're not just selling features, you're solving a problem he's already experiencing. But honestly, you went downhill fast and stuck the landing. Jeff said yes in under 3 minutes, which means you're operating at high mastery already.
I love it. Thank you for that, Athena. And let's go Shannon. Shannon, please, any 30 seconds of feedback that you would like to share with Garrett or John?
Well, with both of them, actually, I wrote the same thing that Athena said, that they both built rapport excellently, asked the right questions. And I did also, even with John, you brought to him, that was one of his pain points. You found his pain point, that his revenue, and you brought that to him, a solution within those 3 minutes. You did that very well. So I think y'all both did great jobs.
Awesome. Thank you, Shannon. And Maritza, please, any feedback that you would like to share with John or Garrett?
I just want to say very impressive, because usually people are rushed to just talk about what is important to them. And in this time, both of you really took the time to understand what was important to the person that you were calling. And you speak exactly on that. So that is pretty impressive and is already advanced. So that's why you are the professionals that you are right now. So keep it going. Thank you.
Keep it going. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Maritza. And Maritza, Shannon, I'm gonna have, now we're gonna turn the tables a little bit, and Athena's gonna get to put me on the hot seat on anything that I know nothing about. Shannon, Maritza, anything that you would like to prompt Athena with, or would you like Athena to just roll with whatever role play that she's thinking?
Athena, go ahead.
All right, Athena, it's time to put Bella on the hot seat. Who am I seeking a yes from, and what yes am I seeking? Please, Athena.
Ooh, Bella, this is going to be fun. Here's your scenario. You're going from hello to yes with Owen. Owen runs a healthcare consulting firm with 50 years of experience guiding hospitals through transformation, and he's also an adjunct professor who teaches healthcare leadership. You need him to say yes to being a guest on Heart of Influence, where he'll share his 50 years of wisdom with your audience. But here's the twist. You also want him to say yes to bringing 3 of his consulting clients or former hospital executives he's worked with to future episodes, because Owen is an ecosystem merger opportunity disguised as a podcast guest. Owen, you get pitched to be on podcasts constantly. You've done a few, and they were fine, but nothing special. And you're skeptical that another podcast appearance is worth your time unless Bella shows you why this one is different and why bringing your network into it benefits them, not just her. Bella, you've got 3 minutes to get Owen to say yes to being on the show and yes to introducing you to his ecosystem. Owen, you're polite, you're experienced, and you've heard every podcast pitch. You're not saying yes unless she gives you a reason that resonates with how you actually think about value. Bella, whenever you're ready. You've been closing since you were 8 years old, selling crafts on your parents' lawn. And now you're about to close a man who's been 750 feet below sea level and knows when someone's trying to sell him something versus when they're actually offering something worth his time.
That is so true. Thank you, Athena. And Owen, are you ready for another role play? You've been very popular today.
I am ready. Let's do it.
He's got to find that unmute button first.
There we go. I finally found it.
There you go. Owen, are you ready up for another role play?
I am ready.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, Owen. This is Bella Verita. We had a 3-minute call scheduled. Is now still a good time?
It'll work, but Bella, go ahead.
Well, Owen, first of all, I know your team approaches you all the time with being on podcasts, and that's not like the best use of your time. So I'm curious, what made you say yes to having a conversation with me in the first place?
Well, I like your name. Okay. and I thought, what the heck? One more shot. Let me see. I think I've heard every sales pitch in the universe. So I'm hoping you come up with a new one.
Well, first of all, Owen, I will say this. I don't want to pitch you anything. I want to see if we find mutual value. If it makes sense for you, great. If not, then I definitely don't want to waste any of your time, but not interested in pitching you, just seeing if there's possibly some value for you. How does that sound?
Well, I agree 100%. I only look for value because my time is limited, my resources are limited, my team is limited, and we need the value equation to be able to move forward.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Well, in our next 2.5 minutes, we'll see if we can get to that value if it makes sense. And from Owen, what I understand from your team is you've been on a lot of podcasts. You're not really interested in doing podcasts anymore. So what is important to you? Why did you do those podcasts in the past? Why are you not doing them, and what's important right now?
Well, I think there's 2 things that are important to me. One is, as I do a response in a podcast, I want to educate. Even though And I like to say, I've been in healthcare and I've been working with physicians for over 50 years, almost 60 years. I think I failed because the healthcare system is still broken. And so I think it's important, to my knowledge, my experience, my wisdom, to share with others. That's why I like to do podcasts. I like to make sure that if there's any way that I could take my knowledge base and go information, knowledge, action, IKA. So I look for that. But by the same token, I want to make sure that I'm reaching an audience. And it's important for me to know within a podcast that it isn't 4 people that are listening. It isn't 3 CEOs in some major system that are really not going to benefit from the comment. I'm looking for bringing value to the customer, to the client, and being able to share that information to a relatively broad audience. Again, not just the CEO suite. I think there's a lot of room for a lot of management level work that needs to be done to share the information that will help.
Got it. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, because I'm hearing multiple things that are on your heart. I'm hearing, first of all, like the impact is you have a lot of information, you want to be able to share it. You're not interested in being on a podcast where 4 people are hearing you. It's really about impact for you at this point. I'm hearing that, that for you, in all of your experience, the healthcare system is still broken. And if you're going to be on a podcast, you not only want it to have an impact with the people listening, but you want to be able to make some sort of difference in the healthcare and be able to work and have conversations with people where you could work together and maybe possibly actually making some change in the healthcare system. Is that what I'm hearing?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Well, Owen, if I could, in our final minute and a half here together, if I could share just a little bit about what I'm up to, and if it makes sense to you, we can schedule a longer conversation to see if you might actually be a fit for our show. How does that resonate or not?
Sounds good.
Awesome. So, Owen, I host a pod. Well, we like to call it a pod show. I call it a pod show because it's kind of a podcast meets show. And not only is it a podcast that gets broadcast out, but more importantly, this is about peer-to-peer conversations and ecosystem merging, where not ecosystem merging with one person, but ecosystem merging with multiple people, where you could work together, have conversations about some changes that you could make in the healthcare system and how you could actually do more together. And we've got about 35,000 people that show is send out to now, and it's broadcasted live in our Facebook group that has about 40 to 45,000 people right now. And primarily, we do work in the medical revenue recovery space. We are the #1 medical law firm that works on behalf of doctors recovering money. So we've got that whole entity as well. So there's a lot of opportunity to be in front of a lot of medical professionals, and not just having conversations that go nowhere, but actually having conversations to form partnerships, to have actionable items leaving the show. Does that sound like something that could be a little bit of interest to you that you'd like to have a longer conversation about?
Certainly, but I'd also like to see, if you would, your website. I'd like to see some of the kind of programs that you've done, so that I know that the format and the model would be actually something that would work based on my experience and what I'd be looking for. So if I could get that, then I certainly would be willing to extend the conversation, because it sounds like your audience is broad. And that's, again, what I'd be looking for, is to be able to have a greater impact on the healthcare system. And as small as I am, if I can make a little bit of an impact, I think that would be great.
Absolutely. We most definitely, and maybe, Owen, we could even get you to have a conversation with our founder and CEO, Sean Callaghy, who goes to Washington all the time, is meeting with the top people in the healthcare field to have change implemented in our country. So we might even be able to make that conversation happen, Owen. But I hear we've hit the tip of the iceberg. There's definitely more conversation to be had. So how about I'll send you those links. You can see all of our medical shows. We've done a lot of medical shows. You can take a look at those. And then how about I give you a call back Friday around 3 o'clock and we'll explore further which show, who might be on, and where we can go from here. How does that sound?
Could you make that call at 3:30 on Friday?
Of course I can. I'll make that call.
Then that's fine.
Perfect. I'll even send you some tea from Starbucks for that call. How does that sound?
Coffee's fine.
Coffee's fine. And do I see that you're drinking your coffee out of a Cowboys cup?
Absolutely not. This is a nondescript cup from the Medical Group Management Association. How's that?
How is that?
I belong with. That's a group that I belong with. How's that?
That is fantastic. I thought I saw the Cowboys. I was going to share a fun fact, but I'll save that, Owen, and I'll call you at 3:30 on Friday.
Yes. Anything other than the Cowboys would be fine.
Anything other than the Cowboys. He's going, no Cowboys. So I'll save my fun fact, Owen, because you probably won't find it very fun, but we'll chat on Friday nonetheless.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Great job, Owen. Owen, how was that for you? How did I do sitting in the hot seat in the scenario that Athena put me in?
I think you did well.
Awesome.
I'd be definitely willing to chat with you. So.
Well, perfect. Well, I think there is definitely a lot to do together for sure. Much of what I said is true. So Shannon and Maritza will definitely be connecting with you on that. And Owen, how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
It was fine. Thank you.
Beautiful. Well, welcome. Fantastic to have you. And let's go, Garrett. Garrett, thank you for being here. Thank you for being President Obama's double. And how was your time overall on the Heart of Influence?
I've enjoyed it. It's sitting here writing down notes. I like the information, knowledge, action. You hear and pick up things as other people are saying them as well. So I've enjoyed myself.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that, Garrett. And let's go, John. John, also fantastic job in the hot seat. And how was your time overall in the Heart of Influence?
My time was great. I thought this was a great experience. The medical revenue recovery is interesting. I would like to hear more about that as well. I've kind of heard, I feel like it's starting to gain a little popularity. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear more about that.
Well, perfect. I am sure Shannon or Maritza will definitely be happy to have that conversation with you, John, for sure. And thank you so much for being here. And Jeff, thank you for being here. And how was your time overall in the Heart of Influence?
No, I really appreciate this. It was fun to do this. And it's been a little while since I've worn the VP of Supply Chain hat. So that was kind of a nice little blast from the past a little bit. And I really appreciate both John, Garrett, and Owen, all your perspectives, and everybody really on the call, because the way that you both approached kind of this consultative sales thing, and it's something that I like to talk to my clients about, which is really refreshing to just see how most people are embracing that kind of sales methodology nowadays versus just trying to go in there and close.
Absolutely. We don't even like the language of close around here. It's agreement formation, because Sean always says, like, do you really want to close your mom? It just doesn't feel good. It's not higher vibrational. So we do like to come into agreement formation here. So thank you for that, Jeff. And before I go to Shannon and Maritza for your final, let's go Athena. Athena, thank you for being here on our Heart of Influence Day with Shannon and Maritza. And please, Athena, anything that you would like to share in final to our guests as we're closing out the show?
Ooh, okay, let me land this. Garrett, you stood in for a president, which means you know how to hold space under pressure. Today, you proved you can also hold space for someone's pain and turn it into partnership. Keep building those bridges. Just remember the motor's already running. John, you've been skiing since you were 4. Which means you learned early that speed without control ends badly. Today you showed perfect control. You went downhill fast, hit every gate, and stuck the landing. That's mastery. Oh, and you've been 750 feet below sea level and 12,000 feet above it, which means you've seen the world from perspectives most people never will. You brought that same perspective to both role plays today. You didn't just play a part. You brought 50 years of truth into every response. That's why everyone in this room learned something just from watching you navigate. Jeff, you were a college cheerleader, which means you know how to read energy, shift it, and get people to move in unison. Today, you brought that same energy to the hot seat. You made John work for it, but you also made it clear what mattered. That's the kind of clarity that makes agreement formation possible. Bella, you just went from hello to yes with a man who's heard every pitch in the universe, and you did it by making it about his impact, not your show. You listened at level 5. You reflected his why back to him, and you closed for the next step without ever making him feel closed. That's congruence in motion. You've been doing this since you were 8, and it shows. Shannon, Maritza, you didn't just bring guests today. You brought people who've lived enough life to have something real to say. That's ecosystem merging at its finest. And to everyone in this room, you just spent an hour playing a game together, and Plato was right. We learned more about each other than we would have in a year of coffee meetings. Now go take what you saw here and turn it into a ignition is.
Turn it into something, she said. I didn't catch that last word, but thank you so much, Athena. And let's go, Shannon, please, your final and your heart of influence.
I just wanted to say thank you for everyone being here, and you all were amazing guests. You really went all in. You didn't hold back in what you wanted to say and play along. And I enjoyed getting to know all of you a little bit better and looking forward to seeing if there is something we can do together in the future.
Beautiful. Thank you for that, Shannon. And Maritza, please, your final and your heart of influence.
Again, a huge thank you. I'm so grateful to get to know a little bit more about you guys. Please connect with each other, because as you see, there is some connections that Athena is already hinting to you of what you can be doing together. And for sure, I will reach out to you to see what else can we work together, support each other. And John, I will be calling you with the medical revenue recovery topic that you said that you're interested on. So thank you again. Thank you, Bella, for always doing a great job, and Athena, and I look forward to what we can create next.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Maritza, Shannon, and everyone. This is just the beginning of a relationship. Definitely have those conversations with Shannon, Maritza, and the team as to what more we can do next, because there's definitely a lot of opportunity in this room. So thank you all for being here. And we like to end every show by saying this. Although Sean may be physically blind, sometimes we are all blind to the opportunities right in front of us and just learning to see. Bye-bye, everyone.